This is Bob Anderson, and I'm going to do a quick update on my trading journey because I've hit a milestone as of Friday, actually. Friday, I hit a milestone. The milestone was that I had meet my 25 days of trading requirement to reach the first step of funding from the prop trader, Apex Trader Funding. So anyways, I got like a notification on, they have a chart, I think I told you, where they do like a equity graph of my account. This is a summation of some of it right here. But anyways, I got a notification, a green flag that says I guess that basically means I'm available for funding. So over the weekend, I went through the process of setting up my account with their funding network. It's a company called Deal, which is like a version of PayPal or something like that. So I set all that up over the weekend and linked it to my business account because I run all this stuff through my business, all this trading. And then, and so I think tomorrow, which will be the 20th, because today is the 19th of September, I think tomorrow on the 20th is when I can actually go online to their system and request my first withdrawal of $2,000. So what I thought I would do right now is two things. One is to just quickly go over the rhythmic, robotic steps that I went through in the last 25 days to meet the requirements of being funded, which I've already told you. I used the 1-minute chart trading strategy that I'm going to show a couple examples today again, because today was, if I ever had to write a book on my trading strategies, my two trading strategies that I've told everybody on this channel about, today would be the example day that I would use, because today was absolutely perfect examples of my trades. So we're going to go over that in a minute here. Anyways, my trading strategy. So anyways, my total accumulation after commissions and stuff, trade commissions, was 65.39 for the 25 days. I mean, am I overly impressed by that? Not really. Well, and to be honest with you, it should have been $7,000 because of that $400+ mishap that I had. That I still don't even know what happened. I don't know how and apparently there was some other people that messaged me that had the same problem. So it wasn't my internet provider. It was something to do with the data. And I had two trades last week that just blew up, and all of a sudden I'm down $400 and some. But anyways, I recovered from them. I made like $560 that day. Anyways, my biggest day in the 25 days was $637. My lowest was zero. Probably could have been a dick and dunk day, or a day that I went in the hole out of the gate and I just worked my way out of the hole. Sometimes I was down like $100 and I'd work my way out and just call it a day. Remember, I work and I don't press to trade. The only thing I press about is to get a trade day to count. And the reality of it is, now that I'm past this 25 days, I really don't need trade days to count. Now, my understanding is from the moment I fund the $2,000 out of this account to the moment I ask for another $2,000, I really only need to have 10 trading days. So, not that I'm not going to trade at least 10 days, but I'm just saying. So my biggest day, 637, my lowest day, 0. I would, the reality of it is most of them were, somewhere between $250 and $400, which is good numbers to accumulate up to 65. Remember, this is all one contract. Okay. That's probably the most important thing for me to tell you. This is one contract. Because in the ES, one contract is literally like a drop of tears in the ocean. So, yeah. So there's a lot of potential. these strategies, or in this strategy. So anyways, one of the things I'm going to do now is I'm going to, because I keep getting emails and messages, and sometimes I get people that literally, act like they've not seen any of the videos, and they just like, tell me your strategy. It's like, I can't, my videos are 20 minutes long. I can't just type out my strategies. And so anyways, I'm going to just show again how today was the perfect day. I only took one trade. It's a Monday. I only took one trade on my funded account, and I took one trade on my evaluation account. So I did take 2 trades, but I only took. Monday is my busy day. I am so busy in the morning on Mondays. My phone doesn't stop ringing. So I missed the perfect trade and caught the second trade, which I'm a little more nervous about the second. I've told you guys that. The first trade after a thrust is always more successful than the second trade, which is always more successful than the third. All this is literally going to lay out right here in front of you here in a minute. And then we're going to talk about the 1 minute chart first, and then the 5 minute chart after. All right, so here we go. Here is the 1 minute chart right here. Remember, all my stuff is at Eastern Standard Time. So, there is no, let me put this thing in sim mode in case I want to do a trade. All right, so at 9:30 the market kind of pushed down, and then the market kind of pulled up, and then it went sideways, but see, we broke this pivot on the left. See this pivot right here? Now all of a sudden we're moving. We're moving somewhere. We're not just consolidating anymore. This was all this consolidation garbage. We broke it, came down, and bam, at 9:40, that would have been the entry right there. So you would have had your buy stop, because again, buy limit, I am in sim mode, right? Yeah, you would have had your buy limit sitting, way up here, out of the way. You would have had it clicked and dragged. You would have had it clicked and dragged, and just keep dragging it down these candles. And then when this candle right here, when this candle right here closed, this one right here, you would have had your buy stop 1 tick above it. That's 67.25. Okay, so now this is while this candle's forming, because it touched your gold line. This is while this candle formed. So you're 1 tick up. And then this candle opens and pushes down and doesn't even come up. So when that candle closes, you come down, and as soon as it closes, bam, you're there 1 more tick lower. And then bam, there's your trade. There's your trade. That's the first trade right there. Bam. And that ran, you're in at 67. This ran 10 points. It ran 10 points. I mean, it literally ran 10 points, because these are 1 minute candles. 10 points. Anyways, but I would have been looking for 5. I mean, we've talked about that. So mine would have been out right here. I didn't take this trade because I was on the damn phone dealing with business. But anyways, so then it ran up, came back down. So now now you're still long on the 5 minute. Make sure you're checking your 5 minute. You're still long, and you've run up, created a new high, and each candle slowly walks its way down, and then bam, that candle breaks, you're in there, and then boom, up you go. And that's the one I did take. So I was in at 77.5, and I was out at 82.5 right here. So I was in that trade for maybe 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute. I don't know. But I got my 5 points right there. I can't describe this trade any simpler than that. You got to thrust through your pivots, bam, bam. Thrust up into new highs, pull back, bam. Now, let's talk about this for just a second. here's a false break right here that I never would have taken. Remember I said, first attempt is always your strongest. This is your first one right here. Second attempt, not as strong as your first, okay? You're starting to run out of energy. This one only ran, well, it ran 8-9 points, but it's starting to run out of energy. Starting to flatten out. Notice it's taking more candles. It's flattening out. Your gold line's flattening out. Everything's flattening out. It's not just screaming up. When this one came down and finally hit, here's where your entry would have been right here. If you were continuing for your third attempt, which I never would have done. I just don't do third attempts. I don't do third attempts. I don't do fourth attempts, and I'm reluctant on second attempts. And this one here hesitated here. It really did. It did not move like this one. Okay, this one did not move like this one. But anyways, and then whoosh, slammed right down. And see, I don't know if you guys ever heard the phrase FOMA, fear of missing out. This is where they catch the amateur traders. This is where they catch the amateur traders. The ones that they've seen the patterns a couple times, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, this is my chance. And bam, they take your money. They're doing that on purpose. So anyways, I don't ever take the third one. I really don't. I don't ever take the third trade. And I'm reluctant about taking the second. But I was on the damn phone, so I took the second, and it worked out. I got 5 points. Boom, done. Okay? So let's talk about it, and then it rolled over and got into this consolidation junk, and then you got up here into the overnight open, which pushes it down. You're just trading into heck. So anyways, let me talk about the 5-minute chart for a second. I want to read a message I got this morning. Hey Rob, thank you so much for your generosity in sharing your 5-minute trade strategy. I took 2 trades. I'm going to do it Eastern Standard Time. The 10-10 trade in the morning and the 10-25 trade. I am in Singapore, so she did it in Singapore time. Both with one contract, and they worked absolutely beautifully. And you are really right. It was no stress trading. I watched your video on how to do this trade at least 3 times over the weekend and took detailed notes. May I ask you a simple question about how you handle your break even and your stop? And so I answered that question for her, because apparently if she watched my video 3 times and I didn't necessarily cover that, I did there. Anyways, that's like the 3rd person to message me between Friday and today that they've taken that 5-minute trade and they're like, holy shit, this works. I'm like, yeah, it does. So let me show you the 5-minute chart today, because this thing was a work of beauty. A work of beauty. So here's your 5-minute chart. Again, here's 9:30 right here over on your left. It thrusts up, and here's your space. Here's your gold line. I mean, this thing took off. It went through by 1 tick. 72.25 is the entry. So your target of 10 points is like 82.25 right here. But it went like five points in no time. Then it rolled up, hit your overnight open again. Overnight open, notice that pushed it down. Bam. This one, the gold line was actually a little lower. It was about at 77 at the time of the entry. It was right about here at the time of entry. The gold line got pushed up from price action to 78. But anyway, so the entry is really about 77. It went through to about 75 and 75, so 1.25 points drawdown, and then wham, 10 points. Now, here you're in the midst of all this open, so I don't deal with that. Look at this. Roll back up. Space. Here's your space, by the way. Here's your space on your second trade. See the space? Got to have space away from this, and then the pullback. Space, pullback, 10 more points. Never reached a pivot high when it rolled over. Never reached a pivot high. See, here's your pivot high over here on this candle, okay? Never reached a pivot high for another try. So no trade here. Now there was actually some money here. You could have made money, but I wouldn't have taken the trade. It rolled over, pulled down, bam, first trade right here. 38.84, bam, 74, 10 more points. This trade today, if you actually followed the rules that I discussed in my 5-minute trade, was a 10, 20, 30, 40 points this morning. Before noon, 40 points with one contract. Before noon, 40 points. So what I'm trying to say is you didn't have to get 40 points, obviously, but today was the day that would have been the class for a clinic of how my trades work, of how my trade strategy works. It literally today was a class, was a clinic. I don't know how to make it any, I don't know how to explain it any better than that. If you have a question about the strategy, be specific when you ask me. Don't just say, can you explain your strategy to me? I mean, because I don't even understand the perspective by which you're asking the question. I try to be as open as I can on my futures channel, futures trading journey channel of my trades, just because I'm proud of my trades and impressed by them, and I'm openly sharing them with you. If you want to use them, great. If you don't, that's fine too. It doesn't necessarily meet your objectives. But anyways, I do my best, and I am excited. I met objective number 1. Yep. And I'm still working forward on getting my 5-minute eval account through testing. So I think my goal is to have that as an actual funded account by the 1st of October. That's what my goal is, to have that one up and running. Anyways, I'll talk to everybody later, and thank you again for all the good messages, and thank you for the congratulations that you guys keep telling me on this. It is exciting, and I have a feeling some of the people that watch these videos are going to be telling these stories here soon too. Again, is that a big number? Not really, but I need to walk before I can run. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.